Before we begin, I just want to say all that bullshit with the. I don't even know if saying it is gonna make it 18 plus, but all that bullshit that happened where it was really hard for me to say that that striked my videos 18 plus. And I'm thinking, yeah, you know what? No one under 18 should have to hear that bullshit. But it's just like this is dumb, bro. That was so cringe. I couldn't believe that shit. It had been a crazy few days. My anxiety had been ebbing and flowing. I was falling hard for Mia and trying to embrace that beautiful feeling, but I wasn't getting anywhere in my novel. I still couldn't figure out how to end my book with a bang, which was nagging me at me. It's always something. Frank was being frank, a burden, a friend. I couldn't tell which. First of all, bros before hoes. The Lola run and fucked me up, but Mia saved the day. And that kept me from unraveling into what would have been surely been a full-blown panic attack. Bro, imagine meeting your ex and having a panic attack like that. That's wild. I don't know how you could live life like that. Or worse yet, a spell of the D word. I mean, that's the word we didn't read the definition for, so we're not even going to dignify it by reading the word out loud either. Things at Muldoon's were fine. I finally felt like I had my bearings straight. I'd spent enough time in each department to have the lay of the land. I wasn't making as many mistakes. Today I was in the refrigerator section taking care of inventory. Shit was cold in there. I was rocking gay ass earmuffs, a scarf, and gloves. Bro, you just put on like a hoodie, jacket, and you could work that shit. Fucking earmuffs like a fucking ass faggot, bro. Oh my god. It was the section, or like a hat, like white earmuffs. Why you gotta go like for the gayest shit in the whole planet? It was the section behind the glass when you reach in your fancy ass almond milk or oat milk or cashew milk or hemp milk. There were many foo-foo milks these days than I could count. What happened to classic cow shit? Yeah, but you're literally the kind of person that would buy that crap. I ran into Frank while restocking. I told him everything, the conversation between me and Rachel, and even Mia walking in, how it must have looked. People see what they want to see, man. You should have known better than anyone else, Frank said. What do you mean by that? I asked, wrinkling my face. I mean, Mia's insecurity was giving her a suspicion that something was going on, so she prodded. Then she let it go because, regardless of what was happening before she walked in that room, she has no reason not to trust you. It's perfect. Frank smiled. Oh yeah, I gotta do his voice. I completely forgot. Wait, why was it perfect? I just want to highlight how much impact not saying the words after is, right? So I said the line, wait, why is it perfect? And I could have, and I will just read the next line, but imagine if I just said, I asked, confused. My perfect voice acting already illustrated that. Because you got Rachel's number, man. Now let me see it, he said, eager to hold it in his hands. I reached in my left pocket and pulled out the torn magazine page with the number on it and handed it off to him to do with as he pleased. I'm gonna call her tonight. Meet me on the roof in 5 for a smoke. And Frank was off. Offed. I grabbed an Arizona iced tea and headed up to meet him. On the roof, I looked out from the other side. On the roof, I looked out over the other side, opposite where there was the loading dock and endless trees. On this side, I faced the dreary parking lot and the rest of our shopping center. The record store, the bank, the dry cleaners, and of course, the diner where Lola had left me. Damn, he's like 5 blocks away from there? Hold on. The next sentence literally starts reminded me of Lola. The next fucking sentence literally starts with like that's not a real sentence. I took out my wallet and stared at the picture of us. I felt bad. I was into Mia and keeping a picture of my ex in my wallet that just couldn't be healthy, bro. Oh my god. But I couldn't bear to let it go just quite yet. I don't know why. I just didn't feel ready. As I contemplated it, I could hear the flick of Frank's Zippo. Beautiful day, he said. I turned around to see him sparking his cigarette. Even in this little shitty town, we've got some breathtaking views, he said. Now that I thought about it, it was beautiful. It had been raining for weeks and I hadn't realized the sun was finally out. But then again, with all the shit on my plate, finishing a novel and trying to forget the pink balloon, oh my god. It was hard to notice what was going on right in front of me sometimes. As Frank snapped the lighter shut, I realized something. Hey, hasn't Curtis been looking for his lighter? Yeah. Frank smiled. Yeah, I guess so, huh? You swiped it? Yeah, fuck that guy! Frank, you aren't that evil, but what if it's important to him? Fuck Curtis and fuck everybody else who works in this godforsaken hellhole. I'm corrupt, Flynn, just face it. You know it's true. He smiled. Somebody's gotta be the evil villain, but deep, deep down, I like to know that there's a good man in there somewhere inside my ass. He's an elderly black man named Billy. Oh, come on, Frank. You should really give it back. Man, this voice is so fucking perfect. It might be more significant to him than you know. I mean, even if he is an asshole. Frank smirked and lit another cigarette. Damn, he finished one that fast? What greater meaning could be the asshole's lighter? Wait, what greater meaning could that asshole's lighter have when it's engraved with the words Vanilla Sky? He's either loves Paul McCartney or is gay for Tom Cruise. Either way, he's a faggot. He gave a heavy laugh. When Frank and I talked like this, it really felt like the conscious and subconscious. Bro, this guy in this really, oh my god. This guy's fucking writing, dude, I swear. It really felt like the conscious and subconscious were battling, the angel and devil on the shoulder. I suppose that was just Frank, though. He was the guy who said all the shit most people only thought about. That was part of why I loved him and hated him, bro. I've read one too many chick flick books to like, that fucking punched me, and I'm seeing stars right now, bro. That's why I loved him. That's literally like, when you read a fucking chick book, and then they say that about their husband, just know that they're gonna leave him. They're either gonna leave him, something magically bad is gonna happen to him where she doesn't feel bad about leaving him, or she's gonna cheat on him. That's why I loved him. Oh my god, that's like the biggest red flag ever. Maybe he filled out the void in my ass, and I wish I had more of that. The irreverent, unabashed, anti-authoritarian. Yeah, okay. It's funny how you can have so many perspectives inside one person. How can you feel like one person one day and another person a different day, bro. This shit is so fucking heavy-handed. I can't even. But Frank was also an annoying asshole who treated women with little respect and stole from his employer. I'm no goody two-shoes, but I have a conscience. Once again, I pulled out my notebook, what about your moleskin, to take note of this, and it occurred to me why he was perfect for my book. Frank was the guy who just didn't give a fuck. Bro, this guy says like 18 times why Frank is so perfect for his book. It's so annoying. Or at least he didn't give a fuck about what other people thought. Their rules and regulations. That's what most people wanted. He was saying fuck morality. He was an anti-hero. I don't know about anti-hero of sorts. He would only be an anti-hero if the society that they're in is immoral, but that's not the case. So he's not an anti-hero. He is literally a villain. Defying the rules is only good if the rules are bad. There's no bad rules here. So, bro, come on. Okay. Frank kept talking, going on with graduate, more like fucking elementary seminar and philosophy ramblings, talking about the beauty behind the madness, saying that without destruction, blood and pain, life just wasn't any fun. He was a nihilist, of course he was, he claimed. The world was without meaning. He was a hedonist, of course. I feel like one begets another in the sense that, like, you have to, in order to be a hedonist and justify that lifestyle, you kind of have to be like, oh yeah, there's no point in life. That's why I'm just going to commit like vapid, spiritually draining activities because there's no such thing as the spirit and there's no point to anything. That's that you have to have that. It's like they go hand in hand. You can't be a religious hedonist. A pure pleasure seeker, and he didn't care about the moral rules broken to get it. Dude, this sounds like a psychopath. He didn't seem to ever show a crack in the facade, a vulnerable side, a weakness. That made me suspicious. How can you appreciate the things you have if you've never experienced loss? He said. It was this kind of reasoning that made me understand the thought process behind taking the lighter from Curtis. If Curtis didn't mourn over the lost artifact, he wouldn't appreciate the next one that came his way. What a fucking annoying like justification of crime. Oh, I'm gonna steal this TV so they'll appreciate their next TV more. Yeah, okay. In that case, just destroy it. Don't even steal it. At least I would believe that was your purpose in doing it if you were destroying it and not stealing it. Because one is your own personal gain now. At the same time, I told Frank that Curtis already experienced mourning over an item or person he had lost in life. Maybe that's why he was so bitter and seemed to hate everything. And maybe because of that, it was the lighter that he appreciated more than anything. The inanimate object with more meaning to it than Frank or even I could even begin to comprehend. Yeah, Frank said. Or maybe it's just a fucking lighter. He laughed, but I didn't. Sure, I thought Curtis was a clown, but I wasn't going to take his shit from his ass. Why do you even care about that dude, man? You know he just wants to fuck your little girlfriend. I turned quickly to him. Wait, what do you mean he wants to fuck a hot girl that I work with? Like, what kind of dumbass question is that, bro? Well, why do you think he hates you so much? First of all, he's hated... These guys had beef even before that, so that doesn't even make any sense. Always giving you mean looks, dude. He's had a crush on Mia forever, man. I just stared at him. Look, man. Regardless of any of that, that lighter isn't yours. This guy's such a pussy. All right, I'll put it back in his locker. Frank said. I smiled as Frank took a drag. He exhaled a full plume, clouding the length of his body. Damn, bro. Outside? That's not possible, bro. A full plume? I guess if the wind is in standstill, but I don't believe it. Check it, he said, taking his hand out of his pocket. Jesus, Frank. A stack of hundreds sat in his hand. $5K right here. I've been taking bill and you're keeping it here? Bro, you're just as dumb, bro. I've been taking bills from Muldoon since day one and they ain't said shit. They're obviously not feeling the hit or else we'd be hearing about it. And they pay us garbage. We need it more than they do and I'm barely making it rent over here. Oh, this voice hurts my throat. He pointed the two fingers on the ground below. They were leaving the store and approached an armored truck. It was Vernon and Gary with their deposit bags. You know I could rob this place blind, he said, his eyes squinting to evade the sun. I've been here long enough. I know how to get in that safe, and I know how to erase the security footage so that they would never know. I wouldn't have to worry about fingerprints either. I don't have any. I'd take the money and dip to Canada. She's easy living up there, and they'd never find me. I pulled the toothpick from the box in my pocket and placed it in the left corner of my mouth. What do you mean you don't have fingerprints? I asked. Frank smiled. Our fingerprints are all over the store. They wouldn't be able to prove it was us unless you're fucking literally touching the safe. Bro, just wear gloves. Trying to use it to convict us would be pointless in a place like this. What do you mean us? I said, adjusting the toothpick with my tongue. This isn't Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid. Two fucking movies I never heard in my whole life. I'm speaking figuratively. Obviously, not us, dude, he said, motioning his hands between him and me. Him and I. Get your fucking grammar straight. It only needs to be one person. And like a ton of bricks, it hit me. The eureka moment I've been waiting for, the climactic moment in Muldoon's. It would be a store robbery. And Frank would be the culprit. It was perfect. Frank actually was a petty thief. He talked big shit about robbing the store blind, but I didn't actually believe he would do it. That's 20 years in prison. Okay. You think that person really gives a shit? Like, it would, like, after, like, I guess 10 years, they're like, oh, well, I'm still gonna, like, that's not gonna deterrent to them. Like, they don't see that far. Like, after 10 years, that's it. It's like, oh, they're gonna decide whether it's 20 or 30. It's like all the same thing to them. But my fictionalized Frank, the exaggerated Frank, he actually would. What a brilliant way to peak my novel. Frank flicked his cigarette off the roof. Let's head in. I'm getting cold, he said. Oh, yeah. We climbed down the fire escape onto the loading dock and past Curtis, who was also outside smoking, looking as disfranchised as ever. He just wouldn't quit. Maybe Mia really was the reason Curtis seemed pissed off all the time. He got that, it's not pussy fever if he's not getting it, right? What is it? I guess cold? Whatever, dude. Maybe he was only angry around me because he could sense our chemistry. What the fuck? That's worded really weird. That's worded really bad. Like, that's something that's not what you think it means. But the last thing I was worried about was Monster Energy Curtis stealing my girl. Yeah, okay, that joke only works because he does have that fucking gay ass green hair. Dude probably went to pick up artist classes. Shut up. That's funny. If we were taking bets on who would shoot up Muldoon's, my money was on Curtis. This guy is so fucked up. The Arizona went through me
and I felt it in my blood and veins, and I needed to piss like a racehorse. I told Frank to wait outside the bathroom because I get scared when I pee alone. After the much needed release, I walked to the sink to wash my hands. I stared into the mirror. Tortured artist, I wasn't seeing it. I did have some dark circles under my eyes, though. Maybe I needed some sleep. I splashed my face with some water and smiled into the mirror. You're gonna finish your book! You're gonna finish your book! It's time! I kept saying it, almost as if I couldn't believe myself. Couldn't believe the content I had ready to put on paper. As I walked out the bathroom, I immediately noticed Frank had left. I headed off to look for him just as Curtis walked back from smoking. Hey, have you seen Frank? I asked him. I remember his voice. I keep on forgetting his voice. Oh yeah, Kermit. We'll just do Kermit the Frog. No, fuck off. No, that's not the voice.
No, fuck off.
No, we'll do that. Shrugging him off, I continued on my way past the aisles near the back of the store. I was excited to get off. I looked down the aisles for... I just want you to know I skipped like a whole sentence there. I looked down the aisles for Frank only to spot Rachel's friend Becca. I gave a wave. She returned the gesture, smiling sweetly. And continued on her way. As I arrived at the end of the aisle, I realized I was in the bakery. Oh, hey, Flynn, she said, beaming with a smile. Couldn't wait to see me later, huh? Can't wait, I said. Hey, have you seen Frank around here by any chance? Nope, haven't seen him. Why, when are the three of us gonna hang out, by the way? I spend all my time in the bakery, so I don't get to know anyone else who works here. Here's my flimsy excuse for not knowing anyone who Frank is. It would be nice to meet your friend you always talk about. The truth was I hadn't formally introduced me as a Frank because he had no manners. Yeah, okay. Frank gonna slide in them DMs. It was guaranteed he would offend. He's gonna thug max. He was guaranteed he would offend, outrage, or disgust her. He knows Frank's gonna thug max. It was whatever. But I also couldn't admit to her that I was writing a book, not just yet. And the book was the only reason I was continually and willingly subjecting myself to Frank's presence. Bro, didn't you say like you love him, like you like hanging out with him, something like before? It was all to get this novel finished. I needed this bullshit art. Okay, that does relate back to what I was saying before about like, oh, I love. Yeah, you love it. Like it's so fake that I love X for Y. It's so fucking fake. He just here admits that he's just being a two-faced friend just for his book. I needed this bullshit artist to keep the inspiration going for my main character, but even deeper still, there was the fact that I was actually starting to enjoy Frank's energy. His outlook, it was infectious. His nihilistic, hedonistic outlook is infectious. I guess I don't know. It made you not want to give two fucks about what others around you thought. It made you not give two fucks what others around you thought. What a nasty sentence to read. I was so wrapped up in my own head and my own creative pursuits that his whole vibe was liberating. To live free and think what you want, say what you want. Well, we all can think what we want, but I don't know about do or say. I turned to Mia with an excuse about not introducing her to Frank. I just like to keep work and love separate, I said. Flynn, are you saying you love me? She said, blushing. Oh no! No, I meant life, not love. I'm not saying... I stopped myself, not wanting to insult her further. I mean, not that I won't or couldn't, I just, well... Bro, the voice is so perfect for this dumbass bullshit, dude. Mia let out another laugh. Flynn, I'm just fucking with you for the 15th fucking time. I mean, I really like you, I have to remind you that. But falling in love in just a few weeks isn't exactly realistic. Let's put it on the calendar when we will fall in love, and that's even more realistic. Especially considering we haven't spent enough time together to do so. I felt relieved, though honestly, I knew I was falling for her. I was just glad she was so level-headed. The great thing about Mia was that that's another thing female artists like to do. The great thing about my lover. I should have a bingo chart of like what female authors do. The great thing, what I love about him, the safe husband, just like the bingo chart. The great thing about me, and look, he's doing it too. So the great thing about Mia was that she never played games. She was always honest about how she felt. Oh, haha. Well, wait, who said that? Oh, I got it. Well, thanks anyway. I'll see you tonight at Floater. Interrupted her voice. It was painted. Floater. Interrupted her voice. It was painted thickly with a Russian accent. Floater, what are you doing here now? It was the soul destroyer. Bianca came to wreak havoc on my game moment with Mia. Oh, hey, Bianca. I was just leaving. Just leaving. Yes. Yes? My eyes widened and Mia's rolled. By the way, my name's Flynn. See you tonight. I'm sorry, implying that Bianca doesn't know her name, his name. Okay, whatever. See you tonight, I said to Mia, smiling and giving her arm a little squeeze. With 15 minutes left before work let out, Ted asked me to clean up some spilled coffee by aisle 12. I grabbed a broom from maintenance room and headed over. But just as I began to mop the floor, I looked over and saw Kara head in my direction. She was holding packs of sugar creamer, but at the sight of me, they slipped out of her arms. I immediately dropped the mop and rushed over to help her. It's okay, you don't have to, she said in a hurried voice. Kara, seriously, let me help, it's okay. I told her. She allowed me to help, though she seemed a bit tense. I'm sorry, Flynn, she said. You shouldn't be apologizing at all. I interrupted. Look, I'm really sorry about what happened last week, I explained, trying to sound as honest as possible. So you're not sorry? You're trying to sound honest? You're not honestly sorry? Alright, that's good to know. I didn't mean to walk in on you. There was just so much going on, and I didn't realize how long it took you to put on a fucking bra, you dumb bitch. I know, Flynn. I didn't mean to scream at you either. Kara looked down at her boots like an embarrassed child. Friends, she said. Oh, she said. So why'd you skip a line? Friends, she said. She looked up and stuck out her hand. Friends! Oh, bro, oh my god. Okay, after this, I'm done reading for today. I can't handle that. I said with a smile. We shook, then we both stood up, and I helped her bring the fallen packets to the counter. After I finished cleaning up the spilled coffee, I returned to the maintenance room to deposit the mop. Frank was there in the dark room next to the mop bucket. He's literally just in there. That's creepy. Throwing a banana peel in the garbage can. Whoa! Hey, Frank. What's up, Floater? Hey, I forgot to ask, how did it go with Rachel? I said. Oh, man, I called her and I told her to meet me up for dinner this Thursday, and she was super into it. I'm fucking her then, I bet. Ooh, my voice hurts. Sure, okay, whatever, dude, I said. Hey, Frank, I was wondering if you would tell me more about Andrew Tate and how you would rob the store. Why? Oh, I'm just curious. Your imagination is wild, dude. Trying to seem like I was only interested for fun, Frank paused and then began spilling out the words. Well, the 3.57. I'm sorry, the word. Well, the .357. Man, I don't know how to fucking say it. The .357 Magnum Smith and Wesson in my locker would be a go-to for the job. I mean, with what? I said, you really do have a gun in your locker? What's wrong with you? The question isn't what's wrong with me, my dear Flynn. It's what's wrong with the sick fuck who walks in here with a tool forged for death and a taste for revenge. I don't know if you've realized, but this world is fucked up, man. And if we're at work and some fucking psycho walks through that door, one of us has to be prepared. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I read that really wrong.
Okay, we're back, and we're going to be reading, you know, it's already in the title of the video. You already know what it is. Hopefully the music's not too distracting. I might turn it off. I have to see the recording. It's actually pretty distracting. Okay. Again. It was one of these moments where Frank's insane logic somehow kinda made sense. I glanced at the clock. Fuck! It was 5:45, and I was supposed to meet Mia in 15 minutes. I mean, she's probably coming out just right now, too. Usually, they clock out at 5. That's when they swap shifts. But you know how it is in the service industry. It could be 5:32. I asked him if we could postpone the tale of how he would rob the store for another time. With that, I went to the break room, clocked out, put my apron in the locker, and headed home. Once I got home, I realized I had forgotten to feed Bennett in the morning. Good job. So I put a cup of food in his bowl. I grabbed his blue leash, clamped it to his collar, and took him for a quick walk. I loved walking Bennett after work because it gave me time to decompress and think about my day and how it related to my novel. I would write notes, sketching out scenes, and as you're walking, how do you do that? For how boring work was, it was at least serving its purpose of giving me good material for the book. Bennett stopped to piss. You know, I haven't confronted this idea, even though this should have been confronted way back when. He literally just became so spontaneously, I don't want to say rich because he only made, I mean, I think it's rich to just be given 400 grand and then promised 600 off the wazoo, no work experience, nothing like that. Yeah, I would consider that rich in the sense that he doesn't deserve it. Like, it might as well be a lottery. And he's like, the point I'm trying to illustrate is that he's so rich, quote unquote, that he's literally working this job for fun. Not for fun, but just like for his quote unquote work. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, he's a rich person who got lucky and now he's working in the supermarket. Not because he has to, like the other, well, they're all kids. But, well, in that sense, it's more normal that he's there to age and they're also working there. But they're kind of working there kind of because they have to, right? And it's just like so out of touch. He's literally working there for his stupid book that he just won the lottery off of. Anyway, I just realized that, like, oh, at least it's giving me good material for my work. Well, meanwhile, everyone else literally has to, not literally, everyone else is working there because they have to, in a way. He's just working there because his book. He could do what he wants. Meanwhile, this guy was just crying like a bitch in his bed for, like, what was it, 3 months? And then he just wins the lottery. Oh my god. What a relatable character. Bennett stopped to piss. I waited for him to finish his business and tied him to the bench. Why didn't you tie him to the bench while he was pissing? My nose was in my notebook like never before. Why not your moleskin? Jotting down things about Rachel, Frank, and our conversation on the roof. The revolver in his locker, and his crackpot notions of robbing the store. While writing, I heard a familiar voice. Hey there, handsome. I looked up, and Mia was a few feet away, heading my direction. How did she know you were going to be at the park? Did you guys say you would meet up there? I mean, you didn't really... Let me see. You're supposed to meet her in 15 minutes. You didn't say you were going to meet her out on a walk, but whatever. I guess it's implied. Maybe I'm being pedantic. What are you doing? Oh, who said that? What are you doing? Oh, I was just walking my... I looked down and there was the end of the leash, but no dog. Bennett was gone. My stomach dropped. Bennett? Bennett? What a dumb name for a dog. I yelled, oh no, he must have gotten loose from the collar when I wasn't looking. Oh my God, Flint, I'm so sorry, she said, examining the end of the leash that still had the part that clips onto the red collar. It was perfectly intact. I wonder how he slipped out. I don't know, but let's look for him quick. We spent the next hour searching everywhere. I had wanted a dog my entire life, and when I finally got one, I forgot to feed him in the mornings and lost him. We instantly bonded. Bennett was my main companion. He kept me sane. He really was my best friend, even though there's like no interaction with him up until this point. Really. Like, let me just be real here. If there is like a deep relationship with a dog and the protagonist, there literally would be scenes of him just unwinding and like basically having a conversation with the dog, but that's mostly with himself. There really would be scenes like that if that was the case. But there is no indication of that kind of relationship at all. You're just telling me. And now he was gone. I felt helpless, but there was nothing more to be done. So we decided to head back to my apartment with the hope that he may have returned. When we reached my front door, any optimism had vanished. Mia held my hand sweetly and smiled dangerously as I opened the door. Oh, shit. So, I just want to bring this up real quick. So, in Avowed, I was watching someone play, and then there was a dialogue choice that said, smile dangerously. And there were more examples of that in the playthrough. Like, of just like, do something LY-ish, right? Smile sexily. Well, that's not a real example, but that's an example of doing something LY-ish. So, and then there's a clip in Fallout with the terrifying presence, and it said, turn your head, cock your head with a smile. That's literally the smile dangerously, but you get it. Like, you know that would be, quote unquote, terrifying. So, you know what I'm trying to say? It's that the difference in writing is cock your head and smile. That's terrifying presence. You know it. Like, you can imagine, like, that would be creepy. That would be terrifying. But in Avowed, smile dangerously. Like, just in your brain, it's just like you're smiling dangerously. You don't get it, but then you get the cock your head and smile with the context of it's a threat. Your imagination does the words help you help the imagination fulfill it. And it's just like, just the LY, the smile dangerously. It's so bad compared to it. It's just weird how those two dots connected. Smile dangerously. Where was I? Yeah. Look, I know this sucks, but we're gonna fuck now, so forget your dog. Okay. After sliding my key into her hole and twisting the knob, we were in. Look, I know this sucks. Look, I know this sucks, Mia said, but I'm sure he will come back soon.
And you might not want to hear it, but worrying won't do you any good, baby. Looking into her beautiful brown eyes, I knew she was right. Yeah, okay. Dude, the dog's gone at this point. Just then, she peered over my shoulder to my record collection. Oh, wow, Destroyer, she said, moving toward the couch and my records. I love him. He's so weird and different. I told her I felt exactly the same way. It's really annoying how they're so like, it's just cringe and not, it's just, I roll my eyes every time. Have you heard of Poison Season? I asked. Of course, she responded. Have you heard of 5 Spanish songs? Ay, 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 ay. I smiled and looked down. Yeah, I mean, I heard it, but I didn't exactly understand it, given the language barrier and all. Okay, I'm only reading one page today. I can't handle this cringe. We both laughed. That was funny. Given the language barrier and all, she was getting excited. Saying how Destroyer's Rubies was their best record. We were nerding out hard. I'd never find a girl who was on my level with music. Do you listen to Tame Impala? She asked. No, never heard of them, I said. Oh, I forgot I was going to say not the... Alright, whatever, I don't care. Shaking my head. You're kidding me. Haven't you listened to Currents? Haha, nah, I haven't. Is it any good? She stared blankly at me. Is it any good? Is it any good? He says. It's amazing, Flynn. A true modern classic. Now I'm getting Jamaican. This is bad. I'll have to grab you a copy from the Vinyl Village. Oh, I love that place. Grabbing a 12-inch dildo from the middle of the pile. I carefully freed the vinyl from its sleeve and set it on the record player, dropping the needle in the groove. Have you heard of this, Jim? The music spilled softly from the speakers. This one's called Yeah Right from Tori Waimio. I completely fucked that up. Tori Waimio album What For? I said. The lamp in the corner of my room dimly lit the right side of her body as she hugged herself. Is she cold? Why is she hugging herself? Hugged herself, smiling, swaying side to side. That is a weird... Doesn't sound like she's gonna put out. She said as if she had bitten into her grandmother's freshly baked chocolate chip cookies. I like this one, she whispered. The sun was setting outside the window, the clouds cascading into another vanilla sky. This reminded me of the lighter Frank had secretly returned to Curtis. You didn't see him do it. He probably just lied to you. Tori Waimio, he's really special. Oh. I love his stuff. I wish I could make music like this. Hell, music in general. I thought out loud. Which part are you saying out loud? Why would you write? Oh my god. So he spoke words and then the next line in quotation marks is he thought to himself. Like, why would you put those two together? That would be amazing. She opened her eyes and put her arms around my shoulder. Is he finally going to score or not? Because last time her legs were literally wrapped around him and he still didn't score the deal. We began to slow dance as if we were in junior high. Yeah, that's your only context for that. You can do anything you want. Oh, God. I have to read this crap again. You can do anything you want, she said. Yes, you're right. But I suppose I have other ambitions. Other ambitions? You mean to tell me you don't want to work in the grocery store forever? Of course not.
Why are you there then? I mean, you're both young. Obviously, you're both going to be working there, even if you're in college. Like, is that why? What kind of dumbass question is that? Unless you're a Nepo baby. You seem like you don't belong. You seem, I don't know, destined for something bigger. Okay, I'm going to have to just speed through this. I can't handle this cringe. I wanted to tell her everything. I wanted to tell her about the book, about Frank, about how I was falling for her. But I felt paralyzed. I felt as though I couldn't say anything. She laid her head on my chest as we swayed to the song's BPM. Yeah. Okay. That's such a tone killer. The song's BPM is not really something sweet to read. The song's BPM. That's such a tone killer. That's just relax. Whatever you want to do, whatever you sense deep down, I know you'll be incredible at it, Flynn. The song stopped and the needle picked itself up and idly hovered, waiting for another record. I let the silence fill the room, then grabbed a very special one from the back of my box of records. I dropped the needle. As the cackle from a rotating disc echoed through my apartment, I grabbed Mia, my right hand on her hip. The other interlocked with hers as we began to sway slowly. Her head rested on my chest. I was scared she would feel my heart beating, racing at the thought of kissing her, even though at this point I already had several times. Every time with her was like the first time. I'll be the one that stays to the end, and I'll be the one who needs you again, and I'll be the one who proposes in the Garden of Roses, and truly loves you long after our curtain closes. Well, he said that. Okay. This is beautiful, Flynn. What is it? She went from using my chest as a pillow to resting her chin on it, staring up at me. How tall is he that she could do that? Because, you have to consider if her chin is on his chest, he could be too tall for her eyes to look up. He has to be the perfect height for their eyes to meet if her chin is on his chest. You understand what I'm saying? The logistics might not be working out. This one, and if he's too short, then her forehead is going to be on his chin, and it's not going to work. It's not working out. That's my point. This one's called Happiness by Red Rex Orange County, I told her. It's fitting, she said with a smile I knew all too well. And why is that? I asked. Because I'm the happiest I've ever been with you when I'm with you. Just as I tried to utter something romantic, she kissed me. Of course she did it because this nigga has no balls. And the world stopped. With her, there was no D. the D word that I'm not going to give any respect. No anxiety, no book, no Frank, just us. The rest of the night seemed to consist of her in my arms, perfect music, and laughter. It was a night I'd never forget. The night I knew I loved her, and she still didn't put out. And he still didn't score. Of course, he is not going to be the one who's going to score. She's the one who's going to score.